It depends how certainly if you look at stock market prices, it wasn't the slowest recovery in history. You have to look at hiring, and even now that our jobless rates are at historic lows, they want to ditch the measure that we've been using for like 150 years and be like, no, 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 let's not talk about unemployment rate. Let's use this other fucking metric that no one's ever used before, the labor participation rate. And it's like, yeah, I wonder if you could apply that shifting metric to everybody else.
That's some Sean Hannity math right there.
Yeah, thanks. So, is Obama perfect? No. Could he have done better with the economy recovering? I'm not even sure.
I think Sean Hannity is a really great entertainer. I watch his show. I listen to his show. I find him to be a very interesting guy and really intelligent, and he makes strong arguments. But sometimes his logic is just flawed. Sometimes I feel like he's just pandering to his audience, and sure, why not? It's made him a multi-millionaire. Mm-hmm. The one thing I always like to bring up though is when he said that waterboarding wasn't torture and that he would undergo it to prove
Mm-hmm.
it. And I have been waterboarded under controlled situations. They didn't black bag me and drag me to Gitmo or anything, but it's torture. It's so unpleasant. It's horrifying, and you hyperventilate, but that doesn't work. You feel like you're drowning. It's a fear of death kind of thing. It's kind of a primal fear that comes up in you from being unable to get your breath and having water pour down your nose and mouth and everything, and it's awful. It's torture in my opinion.
Hitchens did it, didn't he?
A little piece of me wants to try waterboarding.
I can hook you right up.
But I want to have defined success too, right? Like obviously, at some point, I'm going to tap out. No one just endures hours of waterboarding and says, "Did I win yet?"
I listed 22 seconds.
Yeah, if you can make it like 5 minutes, I'd say success.
Oh, that's longer than I thought. Like the other people that I've seen waterboarded don't make it a minute. They don't even make it 30 seconds. Some of them.
I know, but I wouldn't say they succeeded.
Some of them don't make it 5 or 7 seconds.
I think Hitchens only lasted like half a minute, right? Christopher
Hitchens lasted like no time at all. Like as soon as he got under there, they poured it on him, and he like almost immediately was like seasoned up. Like fuck this.
I wanted to struggle against it. So what we did this for a video that we filmed, and this is filmed. I should try to dig up the footage. We ended up not using the footage because it was so quote unquote disturbing. And instead we tortured me by having a live chicken placed on my lap and like pecking feet in my crotch. We thought that was a funnier torture that would play a little better online than actual fucking waterboarding. But they get me in a chair, like it's an office chair, but it's been fitted with like a rocking chair bottom, kind of a custom-made thing we just made at our shop. But anyway, I get in this thing. They zip tie my arms to the handrest, and they zip tie my feet together, and they tilt the chair all the way back till my head is de-elevated, I guess. It's at a negative, and one guy pulls a rag like over my face really tight that covers up like this much of my face, and the other guy just starts pouring a gallon of water just straight into my nose mouth area, and you can't, and I'm just coughing and wheezing and trying to spit it up because in my head I was thinking maybe you can like blow it all out and then get a breath, but no, you do that you might actually suck some water in and go unconscious. The whole time it's just a fight to get the water that is in your throat out so that you could get like half a breath. And it's excruciatingly awful. I lasted 22 seconds, and then I was just like, all right, I'm tapping out. This is good.
Freaky about it is like it doesn't look like it would be horrible at all. Like when you watch someone and they're laying getting waterboarded, it's like
footage doesn't look that bad, does it?
Yeah,
it's like
it's
you've
like,
got a cloth on your
I've
face
been
and someone
wet.
poured some water. Like what the fuck?
And there's no injury involved, right? Of course, it's psychological terror, but after a good waterboard session, you don't have any limps, you don't need any stitches, you don't have any broken bones. Yeah. It's
very efficient.
There was a guy, I can't remember the terrorist's name, whatever the fuck, the guy they caught out of Iraq. I just remember the pictures of him all bedraggled and bearded in his whitey tighties. They waterboarded him for like it was multiple days before he gave up all that information. I'm thinking like, what a hardcore motherfucker if he could put up with more than an hour of this shit, knowing that there must be 20 more hours to follow.
There's no end. Like that
There's
to me
no
is
end.
one of the worst parts of it. Like
keep fighting. We got plenty of water.
We did that survival trip knowing that on Friday we're going out for steak. That's a much easier thing when there's an end coming.
The outcome, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the same regard, when I did the waterboarding thing, I knew that if I scream loud enough, they're going to let me go. If I move my hand like this, they're going to let me go. Like they know that to let me go. But, if they've got you and they're really doing it, they're not going to let you go.
Yeah, they just keep going until you break. So it's like, why not break now? You're
I
not
still
going to
prefer that kind of
outlast.
torture to like the Saw 3, shards under your fingernails and prying them out.
You don't need to go to that level. That's not necessary. For most people, I would imagine. I've never tortured anybody, and I've only been tortured. I mean, I've been in a couple of relationships that were, but if you unrolled that kit of tools like they do in the James Bond movies, there's knives and pliers and hammers and shit, and you don't even have to unroll it. Just let me know you got one of those bags, and I'll spill my fucking guts. I know that I wouldn't respond well to torture under virtually any circumstance. I can't think of what it is that I would not tell you under torture. I don't have any secrets that dark or deep.
Oh, yeah. I would sell out both of you so fucking fast. I'd be
So
trying
fast.
to I'd be immediately like, hey, you know what? I know 2 guys who know just as much, nay, more than me. I'll help you torture.
Tell
them,
you
man.
what,
Like, just let me
let's
out.
go get them.
Yeah, you know what? I'm on your team.
You want a gun? Let's go get Woody. Fuck Woody. I'll spill my guts right then and there. I just can't put up with torture.
it's like, we need
I've
to
told my cousin
negotiate.
that before, and he agreed. I was like, man, if they got me, and they're cutting on me, wanting to know where you are, I'm giving you up. I'm giving you up right then and there. I'm not going to be able to hold up under torture, and I just know I couldn't. I watched I read Carlos Hathcock's book.
It's a good book.
Yeah, really good book, and he tells the story. Sniper, yeah, and he talks about they're on one side of the line or the fence or whatever, and out in the jungle they can hear this Vietnamese woman who's like a sergeant in the Viet Cong or some shit like that, torturing an American, and he gives great detail about the torture. Cuts the guy's eyelids out, either pulls his fingernails or shoves bamboo under them. You should, yeah. And as the coup de grace, cuts his dick and balls off, and then turns him loose to like run back toward the American lines, where he goes in the barbed wire and just is screaming, and there's nothing they could do. Later on, he caught that woman pissing in the jungle and shot her in the fucking head, though. So there's a bright spot.
Happy ending.
Yeah,
It's a good ending.
Hathcock's a badass guy. He had
think
the
I
record
read
for the
his
longest
book.
sniper kill at one point.
Did he
What is
like?
his name? I don't know this book.
Carlos Hathcock. He was I believe he was a Marine Corps sniper in Vietnam.
Okay.
Oh, maybe
Yeah,
it's a
that
different
sounds like
book
a
I
Milo
read.
book. I'll read that.
Yeah, badass guy. Killed a lot of people. Very talented shot based on the equipment he was using and the shots he was making. Interesting guy. And good read. Good book.